Last week we looked at what's happened to last season's Flops 11, so today we're going to do the same with our Surprise Stars 11 from last season. Have they done the business once again this season, or are they just a flash in the pan? In goal was Nick Pope. The Burnley man came out of nowhere last season, stepping up when Tom Heaton went down with an injury. He amazed everyone in between the sticks, helping Burnley finish 7th before heading to Russia for the World Cup. But the next season was ruined soon after returning, picking up an injury in a Europa League game against Aberdeen. By the time he was fit again in January, Tom Heaton was back and back to his best as well. Pope can't even get on the Burnley bench now and will surely move on this summer. Right back was Kiko Femenia. The Spanish fullback was fairly solid in his first season in the Premier League, joining Watford last year from Alaves. He chopped and changed with Daryl Janmaat, and that's happened once again this season, as the Hornets enjoy an even better season. And once again Femenia has done alright at times, not setting the world alight, but he's hardly disgracing himself. He's a decent little fullback who's at the right level of club. Centre back was Christopher Schindler. While the Terriers were great last season, it's been quite the opposite this time out. Schindler was a rock at the back, helping Huddersfield pick up key points at Stamford Bridge and the Etihad last season. But the German's levels have dropped, much like his teammates. But despite relegation, Schindler's commitment can't be questioned, and fans will pray he remains with them next season as they look to return to the top flight at the first time of asking. He was alongside James Tarkowski. The centre-half came into the Burnley starting 11 last season after Michael Keane headed to Everton, and proved that the replacement had been there all along. Tarkowski was a man-mountain alongside Ben Mee, heading and blocking everything that came his way. And while this season hasn't been as successful for Burnley, Tarkowski has still been a strong performer, and there's been times we've seen the usual dogged defending from the Clarets, fronted by their number 5 Tarkowski. Left back was Fabian DELPH. The left back position has been a real conundrum for Manchester City, especially with Benjamin Mendy's fitness issues, and last season it was Fabian DELPH who slotted in and saved the day. Operating well as the inverted fullback, DELPH certainly earned his Premier League winners medal, but this season we haven't seen as much of him. While Mendy has struggled again for fitness, so has DELPH, meaning Alexander Zinchenko has had to step up and claim the left back position for his own. We last saw DELPH against Tottenham in the Champions League, mouthing off to Harry Kane for getting injured, not massively sure why DELPH was so angry to be honest. Holding midfield is Mo Diarmi. The Newcastle number 10, yes the least exciting number 10 in the Premier League, was a tackling master last season, and his renaissance in 2018 was a key reason why Newcastle survived. Diarmi had finally proven his worth in a black and white shirt, but this season has certainly been up and down for the 31-year-old. Diarmi has done well in patches, but has been much less influential. It could be the end of his Newcastle career as well, with the contract set to expire this summer at St James's Park. He's alongside Luka Milivojevic. Last year it was the Wilfried Zaha show at Palace, with Luka Milivojevic playing a supporting role. The Serbian was a set-piece expert, or penalty merchant if you like, hitting double figures. And this season he's done exactly the same, whilst continuing to be an excellent centre midfielder for Roy Hodgson. He's a fan favourite at Selhurst Park, and for good reason. He's been a fantastic signing and loyal servant at the club, quickly establishing himself as a leader in red and blue. Next we've got Jesse Lingard. Last season was easily the best of Jesse Lingard's career, ending with the midfielder going to the World Cup with England where he scored a stunner against Panama. Lingard hasn't been as productive this season, but then again not many Man United players have. Turning 27 in December, Lingard is no longer the young pup he's perceived to be, and needs to add some maturity to his game soon. In what is set to be a summer of change at Old Trafford, what should the future hold for Jesse Lingard? Manchester United fans, let us know in the comments. Our front three kicked off with Marko Arnautovic. Last season I had to eat my words with Marko Arnautovic, having branded him one of the worst signings halfway through the campaign. But the Austrian would turn things around, going on a sensational goal-scoring run as a striker that saw him become West Ham's talisman. Well, he started this season well, but then January came and he had his head turned. There was talk of a big money move to China that never came about, and now Arnautovic is anything but a Hammers talisman and will surely leave this summer. Next up was Glenn Murray. 12 goals were impressive last season for Glenn Murray, who banged them in despite being deep into his 30s. Getting better with age, a Glenn Murray who is a year older has done just as well, currently sitting on 11 goals with a couple of games to go despite now being 35 years old. This hasn't been a great campaign for Brighton, but Glenn Murray's done his bit, firing double figures for the second time in his Premier League career, just like he did last year. With survival looking likely, can Murray do it again next season? And finally we had Mo Salah. The Egyptian King was the best player in the country last season, firing in a startling 32 Premier League goals to take home the Golden Boot. Well, this season there's a chance he could win it again, but with much fewer goals. The Reds forward currently has 21 for the season, just ahead of Sadio Mane and Sergio Aguero. Salah hasn't received as much praise this season, suffering a bit of a dip earlier in the campaign where he just couldn't find the back of the net. Despite not scoring as many as he did last season, it's still been another great season for Salah, who's one of the Premier League's best goal scorers right now. So that's what happened to last season's Premier League Surprise Stars 11. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.